Hey guys, we might be live. I say might because who knows with the internet connections and the social media people and all the gremlins that we have going around here. I'm going to wait till you guys come rolling in here just to see if anybody is in the room before I start yip yapping. And let me get my little footstool over here, comfortable and ready to roll. Um, Drink your beer if you got one. I would say we got a lot to talk about, but I'm not sure that there's a whole lot that we want to talk about, to be quite honest with you. There's so much going on that I think in general we want to, I don't want to say disbelieve, but we want to probably disconnect from. And I'm not on fire, by the way. It's a torch light or whatever behind me. um, I feel like probably since the last time that we've been doing some of our live streams with you guys where we've met on Friday nights, so much has changed since then. We've done some live streams since then that have probably touched on a little bit of the hurricanes. I know that, guys, this has been what a crazy 2020. You had the coronavirus, then you had the George Floyd led riots and burn downs of the cities. Then we down here in South Louisiana get not one, but two hurricanes. We haven't had a hurricane down here, not of any real significance in quite some time. We get two of them this year. One that damn near devastates the whole frickin' southwest corner of Louisiana. And then another that comes in here and drops about 15 or 16 inches of rain on top of it. Right after we get Hurricane Laura, Delta comes in and drops that rain. So we get 140-mile-an-hour winds, then we get 15 inches of rain within 6 weeks. Incredible, incredible. I can tell you that here in Southwest Louisiana, coronavirus means squat to us because of all the crap that we've had to deal with. We've got crap lined up all down our streets, all on the sides of it, debris, roofs, carpet, uh, drywall, studs, wood, um, trees, branches, you name it. Everything is lined up along. In my neighborhood, twice already, and there's only 40 something houses in my neighborhood. Twice we have had the big trucks that come by and pick the stuff up and put it in the backs. Twice already, and they still have to make at least a third turn just in my neighborhood. So my point is, what a crazy, crazy 2020. I have never in my lifetime, I can't think back to a more significant year in my lifetime where I can remember specific things and go, oh, I know what year that happened. You know, like my high school graduation, you know, things like that. There are things that, yeah, I know what year they happened. I know what year I got married. Thank God I still remember that. But other than that, there's no real thing that's happened in my life that I thought of, I know what year that happened. I will never in my lifetime forget what happened in the year 2020. And I'm sure most of you won't either. And then we had the election on top of that. Crazy, crazy year. But my point is, I'm glad to be hanging out with you guys again. Yes, this is an extremely laid back setting, but it's because I needed it to be. I've been trying to disconnect and um, really put a whole lot of the stuff that I do back together again. Luckily, my business down here that I have has shifted gears because of the damage and all the crazy stuff with the not tornadoes, with the hurricanes. But nevertheless, we've been equally busy restoring and fixing, repairing, and whatnot because I have a construction company down here. So it's been absolutely crazy. So it's been a shift of gears, so to speak, into a different path altogether. But as far as like videos, I feel bad because I haven't been able to put out many videos. I haven't had a time. My gun range is decimated. My range is absolutely flattened. When I say flattened, there's nothing. It's flat ground. That's all that's out there right now. I went out there and shot a video today on 22 Magnum Ruger precision rifle, and I'm like burning up. We are in South Louisiana, but there's no cover. There used to be cover out there. All the cover's gone. It's blown out into the woods past us. All these steel awnings and all this, everything's gone. It's just crazy to look at where we are right now. Again, it's not to get you guys to feel sorry for us. I'm just saying I've wanted to continue to get back into my videos. I've started probably putting some videos out again a couple of weeks ago, and thank God I'm finally to that point where I can start doing that again, because it feels good to be able to put the videos out. I love doing videos. I love putting them out there. I love interacting with all the viewers and all that. It's a lot of fun to me. And to not be able to do that because I'm too busy with work. I mean, you work all your life to try to enjoy something. I'd finally gotten to a point where doing videos was fun to me. That was a little bit of a release for me. And then it just got to a point where I was like, what? You know, I can't do anything that I actually enjoy. So I'm back to that to a certain degree now. Let's talk about some of the stuff going on. The election, of course. I'm not going to get too much into what my thoughts are on the whole election process. I don't care what brush I'm painted with. It doesn't, and it never has mattered to me what people thought of me personally, as far as did you agree with me or not. I was always more concerned when I looked at how other people looked at me. I was always more concerned with, do they respect me as a person? You know, do they think I'm a piece of crap, or do they think I'm an okay kind of guy? I never really cared if you agreed with the ideals that I had, because I don't have negative or really bad ideals anyway, like negative leaning ideals. So yes, I do worry about what people think of me, because I don't want people to think that I'm garbage, because I do try to walk a pretty straight line and treat people with a lot of respect. That's important to me. It's important to me that people see that I respect them. I expect respect in return, but I respect people in generally. I mean, you're going to get respect from me first, and then when you ruin that, then I don't have any respect for you. But at the same time, I never really worried about if people thought that my political leanings, one way or the other, were right or wrong. In this instance with the election, with all due respect, I don't really care if people think that I'm either not taking it serious or that I might be crazy. But I can tell you that there's, without a doubt, I don't know that to the level that Donald Trump and his staff have said that there is, but there is absolutely, without question, no doubt in my mind whatsoever, fraud going on. No doubt. How people can sit back and say, where's the evidence, when the evidence continues to pop up? Continues to pop up. It's not like you got to search for it. It's right in your face. And people are denying that right now. And that's really bothersome to me, guys. It's bothersome to me because if the shoe were on the other foot and I were stealing votes from you, you would have nothing of it. How did we go for 4 years, 4 whole years, hearing people on the left say that Donald Trump stole the election, it was a rigged election, all of it was fixed, it was an illegitimate election, and here we are not even through counting votes, and people are saying, why is Donald Trump contesting the election? These people contested the election for 4 years. They have still not let go. Leading up to election day, there were people out there saying that this was an illegitimate president. Now, how can, I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm not going to ask the hypothetical questions or the rhetorical questions because I know the answers to them. Your guy is not the one on the other end of it. That's why. That's why you feel the way you do. And I get it. But as Americans, I don't care what political party you belong to, wouldn't you see this as, let's say that you're not a card-carrying communist Biden supporter. If you really just want what's best for the American people, and you're really, regardless of whether or not your guy wins or loses, you want the voting process to take place in the way that it should take place, wouldn't you want us to root out all the fraud that's out there? Would this whole process that Donald Trump is pushing be the thing you want? Because let me tell you something. I have my issues with Donald Trump. You guys know that. You guys that follow my show know that I have issues with where Donald Trump stands on the Second Amendment. I don't feel like he's strong enough on it. But I do know one thing: Donald Trump is not a politician, and we will never in our lifetime, never again, see another person like Donald Trump, who is willing to push the limits of politicians. We have had career politicians ruin this country for decades, doing the same thing over and over again. And if election got stolen in the past, nobody said anything. Yeah, Al Gore might have disputed Florida a little bit back in 2000, but it wasn't. He didn't push it to the point of saying, let's root out all voter fraud. He didn't push to the point of saying that we need to do what's right for our election process and make sure that the process is done properly, and let's find out if things are done wrong. No, he just contested Florida for a little while because he was butthurt, and then he kind of walked away from it. In this case, I don't think Donald Trump is butthurt. Let me rephrase that. To a certain point, yes, he probably is. His feelings are probably hurt because he saw the excitement behind him. He saw no excitement behind Joe Biden. And to know that you got beat basically by a corpse like Biden has got to sting a little bit. But whether he's doing it for himself or for the American public, he is going against the grain and against other politicians who would never have done this before and will never do this going forward. We will never have this opportunity to cleanse our election process again. It will never happen. Once Donald Trump is gone, we're going to be right back to where we were before with these same old corrupt, card-carrying, big government politicians like Barack Obama, George W., George H.W., Bill Clinton. We're going to be right back to where we were. We're going to have the same guys that play by the same rules regardless of whatever party they belong to. And Donald Trump right now, he's rocking that boat. And both sides are pissed off at him. That's why you have Republicans also that are asking him to concede. They're all mad at him because he's rocking the boat. He's supposed to just give in and go away because that's how it's always been done. We're never going to have this opportunity again. We will never have the opportunity to root out and flush out all this horrible, nasty crap that we have that's corrupting the voting process, election process, and all of that crap. This is our only chance to do it. Whether or not you believe in Donald Trump and what he stands for shouldn't matter. You should be pro-ending corruption is where I see right now. And not enough people are supporting that. Again, I don't care if you voted for the man or not. You should be sitting back going, well, if there's corruption going on, I don't want it to happen. I've always looked at politics like this. I've always seen politics as, okay, I may not agree with that side, but at some point there will be a power shift. There always is. At some point the other side becomes the ruling class, the ruling party. I've often thought and felt that the last thing I wanted to do was play dirty, because those people will remember when they get in power and they're going to play dirty. And I've always said I never want to be in that position to where I had to go. Kind of hard for me to argue that point because we did the same thing last time. Politicians are really all in bed together, and we are at a point now, and I'm not saying Donald Trump is the chosen one or no bull crap like that. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not stating that at one bit. What I'm saying is Donald Trump is an outsider, and he is approaching this whole process and has approached his administration as an outsider every step of the way, as a non-politician. It's amazing to me that we sit back and complain about politics and complain about politicians all the time, and in this case, with the left especially. The left always says, I don't want an old, rich, white guy. And who did they try to elect? An old, rich, white guy. They want to put women, people of color, people of a questionable gender that can't figure out what gender they are, They want all those people tokenized and put into positions of power to say, look at us, we're equal. They turn around and nominate the crustiest, oldest, richest white guy that's been a career politician for 50 years, put him in there. What does that tell you? They're not really trying to make a change. They just want the same old thing. They want a career politician. They don't like the way Donald Trump talks to them. You know why? Because he doesn't talk to them like a politician. He doesn't candy coat things. He doesn't make them feel good about themselves. He doesn't double speak, which is basically a lie to make you buy into what he's trying to say. He doesn't say any of that. He says what's on his mind. It's tough for people to take that. I get that it's tough for people to take. Sometimes it's a bitter pill. But just because you don't agree with Donald Trump doesn't mean that you can't at least respect the fact that the guy, yeah, he's got a massive ego, probably as big as I've ever seen. But you can't change the fact that he says what's on his mind, and he is not a politician. He has not done one single thing since he's been in office that made me think, here we go again. He's gotten into Washington, D.C., and he's operating just like every other career politician. Not one time have I thought that. I have disagreed with how he says things, how he conducts himself, the things that he does many, many times over. But I have never thought that he was getting sucked into the, quote, swamp and becoming just like every other politician. Not one time have I ever thought that. He has never done anything to make me think that he is just like every other politician. And again, we are at a point in our life, whether Joe Biden legitimately wins, he clearly didn't legitimately get all these votes. He did not. You can never, ever convince me of that. Now, he may have won enough votes and enough electoral votes to win. I'm not disputing that. But as far as the general amount of votes that he garnered, no, you can't. Well, you can't convince me of that. It's been proven wrong. Dead people have voted. When you have all these dead people vote and they all vote for one party, that is not normal. That tells you who is cheating. So when you see those voter irregularities like that, you have to think, you should be thinking, that in your mind, whether Trump wins or loses, this is a good thing. This is going to, if nothing else, root out some of the corruption. It's not going to root out all of it, because a lot of this crap is happening to people. When you have an area like Detroit, it's predominantly Democrat. It's not even predominantly Democrat. It's almost all Democrat. And those people responsible for counting votes, especially if it's a hand vote, you will not convince me that these people have any kind of loyalty to the American public. Their loyalty is to a party. They have convinced themselves that Donald Trump is racist, even though none of them can recite any proof of that whatsoever. They've convinced themselves of that because they're sheep, they're slaves. They listen to the media and beat it in their head. They listen to the Nancy Pelosi's and the stupid Chuck Schumers. They listen to these people tell them that Donald Trump is a racist. So they yap, 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 yap. They repeat the same thing over and over again. Not because they have proof, because they're too stupid to do any real research on their own. And it's easier to be lazy and just repeat the same things that you've been told. So that, again, guys, we're at a point where supporting Donald Trump or not, you should support the process. If Al Gore, I never had a problem with, in fact, I don't think anybody had a problem with Al Gore. Maybe George W. did, but I never had a problem with Al Gore maintaining that we need to make sure and count all these votes. I don't think most people did. There's no real outrage if you look back. In fact, they were saying that Al Gore was claiming victory on the front page of newspapers, that he had won. Back then, that process was not frowned upon. It was the way Al Gore was so butthurt about it, is the way Al Gore wouldn't let go. And who knows, Trump may be like that. Trump may not be able to let go. If it's found that Joe Biden legitimately won the race and gets the most electoral votes, who knows? Trump may not bow out. He may not be able to let go. But it was how Al Gore wouldn't let go, and to this day, Al Gore thinks he got robbed. But in general, the American people were okay with the process, because I think most of us sat back and went, well, I mean, if George W. stole the election, this is not right. Even though I voted for George W., I didn't want a fraudulent president. This is a process that needs to take place. Give it the time that it needs to be. The reason why we don't inaugurate a president on the day after the election is because there is a process that has to take place between canvassing the votes, the Electoral College casting their votes, and then inaugurating the president. There's a reason why we have that gap in time. It's not to let the president pack his shit. That's not why it's there. It's because this process has to take its place. It has to take its time. It has to do what it has to do to make sure that the proper amount of votes are counted. All that stuff has to happen. Then we crown our next king of the United States of America. Again, we inaugurate in January, not November. So all this time that's supposed to take place is fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now, I will say this. Should Trump be cooperating with the transitional team of Joe Biden? Yes, he should. He should be helping them at least get ready in the event the election doesn't go his way. I think that's the honorable thing to do. And I suspect Donald Trump will do that within the coming days. Say, yeah, here's the briefings and all this kind of stuff. If you won, we want it to be a good, peaceful, less than a disruptive process. So I think that's going to happen soon. But as far as the time it takes to make sure that we put the right person in the White House, this needs to happen like this. This is very, very important that we get the fraudulent crap out of here and the people, bounce them on their head. And let me tell you something. Election fraud is against the law. This, in the gun industry, we always talk about this. Why don't they enforce the laws? All these people that are selling guns illegally, stealing guns, taking the serial numbers off, selling them out of trunks, buying guns in Indiana, selling them in Chicago, all this illegal proliferation of guns out there. Most of us all feel the same way. Stop it. But they won't stop it because we don't enforce any laws. There are no penalties, even though we have penalties on the books. We don't enforce those laws. If we started to bust some ass on election fraud and putting these assholes in jail, throwing cuffs on them and saying, you want to go over there and change the dates? You want to change signatures? You want to change the party of who somebody voted for on an election ballot? Here's a set of handcuffs. Either you put them on or I will, but your ass is going to jail. That needs to happen, because when there's no repercussions for selling guns illegally or fraudulently casting votes for a particular candidate, then there's no teeth, nobody's scared, and nothing ever stops. You have to bust some ass to get their attention. The laws are in place. Enforce the freaking laws. If we don't do that, this crap will continue from election to election to election. And let me tell you something. All my Mr. Nice Guy about making sure we elect the right president is all fine and dandy. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Nobody is more corrupt and dishonest than the Democrat Party. Don't get me wrong. I feel like both parties are garbage, slimy, and disgusting. And I think they do crappy stuff. And in general, they're all in bed together. But nobody cheats like a Democrat does. You want proof? Anytime there's ever election fraud, it's for a Democrat. Show me election fraud where Republicans, and I don't mean one vote. Don't tell me, oh yeah, there's been Republicans that have instituted election fraud. Okay, if you're going to show me an election where 1 million people voted and you've got 30,000 votes that were fraudulently cast for a Democrat and 2 that were fraudulently cast for a Republican, don't bring that up here. If you can't show me a wholehearted effort of a Republican who has cheated like the Democrats have, don't even bring it up. I'm not saying they're perfect, and I'm not saying they're morally better people. For some reason, Republicans just find it a little bit harder to cheat like a Democrat does. And that is a fact. That is a statistical fact. That is a confirmed fact. That is a fact that you can go investigate yourself and find anywhere you want to. Yes, you will find a Republican that has done something wrong. I didn't say that they don't, but it's not, you can't even stack them next to each other and even get close in terms of how corrupt the Democrats are. How do you find thousands upon thousands of mysterious votes that get cast for Democrats and none for a Republican? That is a statistical impossibility. That cannot happen. It's probable. In other words, it's possible that that can happen. Like when you say it's not possible for that to happen. Yeah, it's possible. Is it statistically possible? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. I don't care if you go into downtown Chicago with that bug-eyed Beetlejuice looking lady over there as the mayor. You can't go into downtown Chicago in the suburb. You can't go into the urban areas of Chicago. Let's go into the urban areas of Chicago, the worst area, the place where they kill people at the drop of a hat and nobody says anything. Let's go there. Let's poll 10,000 people in the urban areas of Chicago, and I will bet you can't find 100% of them that think Joe Biden is a better candidate than Donald Trump. I will bet you that if you did an unscientific study in downtown Chicago, or again in the projects of Chicago, and you polled 10,000 people, I'll bet you cannot get 10,000 votes for Joe Biden over Donald Trump. I don't think it's possible. Because the same reason why Donald Trump won last time is why he should have won, I think, this time. This is just my opinion. It's because people are quietly voting for him. Look at the black vote. Look at the Hispanic vote. These people are not stupid. They realize the last 4 years of their lives have been better than under any Democrat-controlled area. And they realize that they are better off today. Now, can they say that at the Thanksgiving table? Can they say that hanging out with their boys? Can they sling some dice over there? Can they go throw some dominoes and hang out with their partners and say, I think Donald Trump's a better choice for us? No, they can't. They can't. They'll get bounced out of there. But in their minds, they're thinking, I'm actually better off. I'm paying less in taxes. I got a job. Gas is cheaper. Things are a little bit better off. I'm doing pretty good. And they go quietly vote for Donald Trump. So if you did an independent study, again, in Chicago, of 10,000 people, and you let them secretly cast their votes, like you would in a booth where you don't have to tell anybody who you voted for, you will find votes for Donald Trump. You cannot tell me that whenever you pull in 30-something thousand votes, that every single one of them in Michigan is for Joe Biden. You will never in this lifetime convince me of that. It's not going to happen. I'm not that naive. And anybody who believes that is a dumbass, because you are refusing to look at the fact that right now there might be fraud in your favor, but at some point that fraud is going to be against you. And are you going to cry then? Yeah, you're going to cry then. But the reason why you're crying then is because you wouldn't cry right now. Just because your candidate is winning the fraud race doesn't mean that that fraud is not going to be turned around on you. You've got no voice in 4 years if this election is stolen from you by somebody else from a party that you're not happy with. You've got no voice. You have no right to say a word. If you are not speaking up right now saying this process needs to take its place and it needs to happen, then you've got no right to say anything down the road. I don't care if it's in 4 years, 8 years, or 40 years. Shut up. Don't say a word about it because you've got no voice. And I don't want to hear it. We should all be supportive of making sure the right candidate is elected. And again, this is our last chance. If Donald Trump is voted out, we're going to go back in 4 years. Now, Trump probably would win again if he ran in 4 years. But in 4 years from now, if Joe Biden is our president for 4 years, and we go right back to the status quo, the next Jeb Bush gets thrown in our face, and that's our next candidate that we don't get to pick because the Republicans say it's Jeb's time, so we got to, it was his turn. Same way we got John McCain. It was John McCain's turn. The crappiest candidate we've ever run besides Mitt Romney. It's their turn, so we got to let them have it. If that happens, you can best believe that we're going to be dealing with fraud, fraud, fraud. We may never have another Republican candidate. But with that being said, even if you're a Democrat, you should not want that because the tables could turn. You hear Democrats always saying that even though the Democrats are the party of the Ku Klux Klan, they always like to say, because they're embarrassed of their own history, oh, the parties flipped back then. The Republicans were the party, the Democrats were the party of the Klan, and the Republicans were the good party. But it reached a point in time where they flipped, and now we as Democrats became the good people, and the Republicans became the Klansmen, the racists. It's amazing how people think that everybody suddenly changed parties overnight because we decided that we want to be that party instead of that party. That still happens. But hey, what if that happens? What if it gets to a point where the Republicans become the corrupt party, the party that now decides to play dirty all the time, and they start fixing elections, and now Democrats start losing races? I hope this isn't coming from me, by the way. Hold on 1 second. Oh, it's a ambulance. I thought it was a cop at first. So anyway, I mean, I think that we should all be kind of supportive of this whole process and be outraged that any election could be stolen. Because again, it can be stolen from you just like it's being stolen from me. So don't ever think the shoe might not ever be on the same or the other foot at some point in your lifetime. I'm disappointed with it, guys, because I feel like so many people are willing to accept corruption as long as it benefits them, and we should think wrong is wrong no matter what party benefits from it. If you got a beer, get you one. I'm going to get me one right here. I'm drinking, by the way, guys. I'm drinking Yingling tonight. It's a great lager beer. I love this beer. Nose itches. I like the Yingling Light too. It's pretty good. I actually, this past week, I saw was it Yingling that did it? Yeah, Yingling. They're the brand that did it. They have a chocolate beer. They teamed up with Hershey, and they had it's a Yingling beer with chocolate in it, and it's a porter beer. So if you're going out on a binge, you don't want to drink it all night long. But it's a great beer. This is how I feel. I drank it one night. I bought a 6-pack of it, and I drank it as my first beer one night because I was just kind of anxious to taste it. I can honestly say it's not a good first beer. You know how sometimes you have to wet your whistle a little bit and have a little bit of beer in your system before other things taste different? They just taste different, better, worse, whatever. That's one of the things that I will say I did find with that Yingling Hershey's beer. Of course, they're both from Pennsylvania. I assume that's why they partnered up. So when I drank that Yingling Hershey's, I'm not going to say it's thick because it's not like a Guinness or something like that. Again, it's a porter beer, but it's somewhat filling. It's a heavy beer. So I drank the first one. I was like, eh. So I went off to, actually I went to Shinerbach has their holiday beer out already. So I started drinking some of their holiday beer. Probably drank 3 or 4 of those and said, you know what, I want one of those Yinglings again. Well, by then, 3 or 4 beers in, and if you include the Yingling, 4 or 5 beers in, excuse me, it tasted so much better. And I guess the reason why is because when I drank it later, oh, my nose, itching like crazy. I think the reason why it tasted better later is because it didn't have that chocolate and beer flavor together. By the time I drank it the second time, it had just a chocolate flavor because I'd had so many other beers, 3 other beers, that the beer flavor, it wasn't like that first beer where you really can taste that beer flavor. By then it tastes like chocolate. So it was way better. So my suggestion to you is definitely try it. Try the Yingling Hershey's beer, but maybe don't take it as your first beer. Maybe drink 1 or 2 other beers, maybe 3 like I had, and then try it because it was so much better. Because I mean, man, after that I was like, this is good. I actually put two of them in my freezer and got them really, really cold, and man, they were good. They were good. So yeah, definitely try them. I like the regular Yingling also, but again, the Yingling Hershey's, give it a shot. But your first sip out the box probably isn't where you want to go with it. That's a good beer. It's just a good flavored beer. Yingling beer is good. Um, Gun industry. I have something exciting that I want to tell you guys. Very exciting, and I hope you guys will help me get the word out. I really do. I mean, I'm gonna need you guys to help me get the word out. I'm asking you a favor. As you guys probably know already, SHOT Show in Vegas in January has been canceled because of this coronavirus bullcrap. Here's another something's going on down here. Let me let this ambulance pass so you guys can hear me. I'm looking, the Main Street Country Club Road is right out here, so see if I can see what it is. Another ambulance. Something must have happened out here. Um, SHOT Show's been canceled, which sucks because I work all year long and I work pretty hard. I mean, I hustle. That's like my getaway. It's, you know, I go hang out with friends in the gun industry. I get to shoot new guns. I get to play with new guns. I get to do a lot of cool stuff with new products. I get new sponsors for my show. It's just a great time for me. I mean, it's like I look so forward to it. You know, Christmas time rolls around, and right after Christmas, I'm thinking SHOT Show. We're not having it this year because it's coronavirus crap. So what I have decided to do, since I do a whole lot of live streaming and I've gotten somewhat familiar with it, we've been testing over this past year because of coronavirus. I've been testing all kinds of different software and whatnot. We are actually putting together what we're calling the 1791 Summit. 1791summit.com is my website. Right now, there's not much there. It's simply a brief description of what this is, along with a form that you can fill out if you are a firearms manufacturer or outdoor manufacturer of any kind of outdoor products. That would be a SHOT Show. What I'm essentially doing is I am going to duplicate what SHOT Show does in Vegas, but online. And I'm doing it the same week and the same basic platform the way they do it. In other words, the Monday that is typically the range day where we go out there and we go out to the desert in Boulder City, Nevada, and we shoot all of these guns and stuff like that. I'm duplicating that here where I live in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I've got a spot down at the range that I have manufacturers who are sending me guns. They're going to send me their new gun, rifle, shotgun, pistol, either new ammo that they have, new steel targets that they have, whatever. That Monday, that would normally be range day for SHOT Show, I'm doing a range day out here through 1791 Summit. It's all going to be live streamed. You can watch all of it. It doesn't cost you anything. You guys, the customer, as I call it, on your end, it won't cost you a dime. You just tune in. We'll start that morning. This live stream will run all day long. I probably won't show you guys or show myself feeding my fat face for lunch, but outside of that, you're probably going to be able to witness every single minute of that day on that Monday. We have manufacturers who are already signing up who will be sending us all of their wares, shotguns, pistols, ammo, all that good stuff. And we'll run that stuff. You guys will be able to ask questions. I know I'm not tending to your questions right now, but we will have somebody managing the live stream itself and plucking your questions out. In other words, if you ask a relevant question about a certain product, we'll take your question and say, we'll ask you where you're from. I'll say, Paul from Louisiana wants to know what's the feet per second of your bullet, that kind of stuff. We'll be asking things like that. So we'll be managing all of that and giving you guys the opportunity to be interactive with the whole process. We'll also have giveaways. Might be, koozies, t-shirts, caps, stickers, patches, all that kind of stuff. The other companies, as well as Legally Owned America, would be doing that. That's on Monday that we'll have the range day. From Tuesday until Friday, we'll do just like SHOT Show. We'll essentially have what we're calling virtual booths. We will be managing the live stream from different various manufacturers. I will tell you this one right now because I know that they're on board and they're happy to be a part of this. Rock Island Armory. Rock Island Armory and Arms Corps Ammunition are both on board, and what we'll essentially do is, and I'm making this up as far as what they're going to do, but they are for sure on board. Let's say they want to live stream from their armorers area, like where their gunsmiths work, and put these pistols together before they send a 1911 out. Well, as long as they have a legitimate internet feed from there, I will host the whole show, plug them into our show, and we'll be able to switch screens. Like you might see a screen like this with me talking, and then we'll switch to them. And I might be like in the little corner of the screen or something like that. My video will shrink down to that. But nevertheless, I will be hosting them on my show. They will take us at their location to show us guns, up close things about the guns. They'll answer questions that you guys submit, that we ask them. We'll go through all of that. We'll give each one of these vendors 20 to 30 minutes to do that, and we'll switch in between. We may run a couple of gun-related commercials in between all of that, but then we'll put the next guy up there. So we're gonna try to duplicate SHOT Show, and the cool thing is, I think it's gonna be a replacement, not of SHOT Show, or let me not say a replacement, in addition to SHOT Show. So in 2022, if people get off of their asses and stop being so goddamn scared, maybe we get back to the regular SHOT Show again, but we're probably going to continue to do the same thing, because SHOT Show has been designed for so many years for people like us that might be in media, and basically for buyers. That's all it's for. In other words, the general public is not allowed inside SHOT Show. So if we can provide this also in conjunction and run parallel with SHOT Show as it runs in Vegas normally, we may just do this indefinitely going forward, every single year going forward. So it might be a pretty cool thing to do where the end user and the general public, I mean, look, let's face it. I know buyers have to buy the guns, but customers who originally or at some point ends up being the true rightful owners of all of these guns. So you've still got to convince these customers out there, me and you, the end user, that Pistol X that's coming out this year is the next best thing. So just because your distributor went to SHOT Show and found out that it's such an awesome thing that he wants to buy 50 of them, he's still got to convince you and me that's the next best thing and that we want to buy it. So that's where we fill that void, where we'll be bringing that to you guys and anybody that wants to be a part of this. We've actually been accepted with open arms. It's amazing to me that people who have not even batted an eye that said, yep, we're in, sign me up. So we're very excited about that. Again, it's 1791summit.com. There's not really much to share now, but as we progress and as we start to fill up all this calendar, I'm going to really expect you guys to give me a little bit of a hand to get the word out, especially as the event nears and gets closer, because we're going to need to make sure that enough people watch this. If nobody watches it, then we'll never do it again, because the vendors will be like, well, why do we pay to be a part of this? Because obviously, it costs money to put something like this on, so we're charging for it. So we got to make sure we have an audience out there. And if we don't have an audience, it won't happen again. So, as a favor to me, I'd appreciate if you guys would give us a hand and kind of push that out there. So kind of a big thing. We're excited about it. I will be putting a video together this weekend, probably. It may come out Sunday or Monday. Moving on to my next topic, by the way. I'm going to cross-reference, and again, I'm not conceding that Trump has lost and Biden has won. This is simply preparation for what could be. I'm going to be putting a video out that's going to cross-reference HR 5717. Guys, if you have not heard about it yet, I put a video out earlier this year on 5717. It's a horrible bill. It's basically a monstrosity of every single anti-gun bill that you ever heard of, piled into one, and then more crap loaded on top of that. I'm taking what Biden and Harris's 4 or 5 page um, statement against guns was on their website, and I'm cross-referencing that with HR 5717, which is what the House of Representatives wanted to put forth to show what things we really need to be worried about. Because maybe everything in HR 5717 doesn't make it into the next bill for 2021. Maybe those things don't make it to Joe Biden's desk. And maybe everything Joe Biden wants to do doesn't get pushed through by the House of Representatives. But we can rest assured that whatever Joe wants and whatever the House of Representatives wants, where they share common interests on those anti-gun things, those items will most likely get pushed through. So I'll be putting a video out saying these are probably the low-hanging fruit that will probably be brought forth as far as being pushed through as anti-gun bills. Now, right now, I believe at last, I might be wrong here, but I think I saw where our only saving grace, besides hopefully the Supreme Court, now that we got Amy Coney Barrett in there, but the Senate may save our asses as far as the Second Amendment. I don't want to startle anybody now and say, you know, Democrat anti-gun president, Democrat anti-gun House, we're doomed. We're not necessarily doomed. Now, we can't let our guard down and say, oh, we got the Senate. Because at last count, from what I saw earlier, there's 50 Republican senators and 48 Democrat senators. So we at least have 50. That is not comforting to me if Joe Biden in fact wins, because as most of you know that took a civics class in high school, you know that there's 100 U.S. senators. If it's a 50-50 split between Democrat and Republican, which it very well could be, the tiebreaker is the Vice President of the United States, which in this case, if Biden wins, is Kamala Harris. So she would be the tiebreaker to give every anti-gun bill out there the power it needs to pass and wind up on Joe Biden's desk. So if we don't win one of those Georgia seats that's open right now, there's 2 Georgia seats that'll be open. What a massive race. Who would have ever thought that a runoff, such a senatorial race, would be possibly bigger than the presidential election? But it's very possible. So if we lose both of those seats in Georgia in January, and God, we got to wait till January for this runoff. It's like January 5th, 2 months away for this runoff in Georgia. If we lose both of those seats, we run the risk of relying only on the Supreme Court to help us and save us as far as the Second Amendment goes, because the House will pass whatever they can, the Senate will pass whatever they can, knowing Kamala Harris is the tiebreaker, and Joe Biden will sign whatever crosses his desk. Whatever he is told to sign, because he's going to be a jello-eating dipshit that can't make decisions on his own, that's going to be a problem, because the people pushing his buttons are going to want him to sign any of these things that comes across his desk that will limit or remove guns from all of us law-abiding gun owners. So we can only have hope for the Supreme Court to save us. And God knows the Supreme Court cannot always be relied on. You can say what you want. I don't care what party affiliation you think various members of the Supreme Court are part of. You cannot rely on that, guys. So in my opinion, the biggest thing we have facing us right now, other than the presidential election, of course, is the fact that we need at least one of these seats. If we get one of those seats and make it a 51-49 split in the Senate, yeah, that's too close to call because we can't afford to give anything up. But I can honestly sit here and tell you that I can breathe a whole lot more of a sigh of relief. Now, let's think of a potential possibility that could happen. Now, this could happen with Republicans also. They could flip. But Joe Manchin of West Virginia has always been a pretty moderate Democrat. Now, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket with him. But if we lose both of those seats in Georgia, there is an outside chance that if an anti-gun bill crosses Joe Manchin's desk, that he does not vote for it, and we still get a 51-49 split between Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. But do you want to rely on that? I don't want to. I don't want to have my constitutional rights for the Second Amendment or any other amendment out there relying on a Democrat senator to back my way of doing things. Even though I will give Joe Manchin a lot of respect because he is one of the more moderate senators out there and has voted in favor, in some cases, of the way that we feel. And I can tell you, West Virginia is a big-time Second Amendment state. So it's tough for him to go against his Second Amendment in his own state. He runs the risk of losing in future elections as a result of that. But we do have that outside chance. That is a strong possibility that he could be one of the ones that saves us down the road. But do we want that to happen? No. We need to pick those seats up in Georgia and make those Republican, because that's the only thing that's going to keep a bill from getting to Joe Biden's desk. We don't need it getting to the Supreme Court. Let me tell you, if we lose the House, which we've lost, if we lose the Senate, and if we lose the presidency, it's not like the next day after Joe Biden signs a bill, the Supreme Court sees that. For one, the Supreme Court has to agree to see a case. But more importantly, somebody has to be wronged constitutionally for it to make it even to the Supreme Court. So the Democrats could pass a bill in the House, the Senate, and the president could pass that and sign off on it, and it affects all of us gun owners. 100 million gun owners out there are disenfranchised. The Supreme Court won't hear anything until, if I'm disenfranchised and they kick my door in and come take all my guns from me because Joe Biden doesn't want us to have AR-15s. If they kick my door in and take all my AR-15s, that actually has to happen before there's any kind of a court case. Not even at the Supreme Court level, at any court level. So they have to kick my door in first. I have to fight them. I have to go to jail. I've got to file suit against the local people, the state, the parish. We have parishes here in Louisiana. I have to go to court over that. I have to appeal. If I lose, I have to appeal, go to the state level. If I lose there, I have to appeal, go to the federal level, district court. You have to go through all these pieces of process. It may take years before it gets to the Supreme Court. It's not automatic. It's not like the day after Joe Biden signs it that the Supreme Court says, all right, let me see that bill. Let me see if that's constitutional. It doesn't work like that. It has to play it out and go through the whole court process and eventually end up at the Supreme Court if they agree to see that bill. If they agree to. Because the Supreme Court is not obligated to see any kind of, I say bill, I'm sorry, case. Supreme Court's not obligated to see a case. If you send something up to the Supreme Court, and I know I'm paraphrasing and simplifying this because there's way more involved than what I'm actually saying as far as simplifying it. But if you want a case to get to the Supreme Court and if they're the next step and you say, all right, I'm appealing, now I want to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can simply look at it and go, yeah, we're not going to see that. And boom, it's dead. It's dead. And then guess what? It becomes precedent. So now the ATF and everybody else can go through and do everything to anybody they want based on that and say, well, the precedent's kind of been set. Supreme Court's not going to see that, so now this is precedent. Too bad. So sad. That's what we're facing, guys. That is absolutely what we're facing. It is not a pretty picture. And I'm not trying to make this doom and gloom. I have people come on my videos all the time and go, oh, you're fear-mongering. I'm not fear-mongering. These are actual facts. Let's not forget that in the not-so-distant past, in 1994 to 2004, you could not have a magazine, you could not buy a magazine, rather, that had more than 10 rounds in it. Yes, I have a Glock in my gun room that I bought in 1994. It's a Glock 23, 40 caliber, 40 Smith & Wesson. It has a full-size magazine in it that should hold, what did a Glock 23 hold? Is it 15 rounds or 12 rounds, something like that. I forget how many it is in 40 caliber. It holds 10. It's got them lined up all down one side, only 10 rounds, because I bought that during the Clinton assault weapons ban, when you could not have a magazine that held more than 10 rounds. So it's pretty clear in my head what can happen. You can call me a fearmonger, but my memory is not that bad. I remember what happened and that it can happen again. And do not think that we're not that close to it happening. Because right now, everything is being operated upon on emotions. It's how you feel. Guys, let me ask you something. Remember all those mass killings that we had? All those mass murders? Hadn't seen one lately, have you? Isn't it kind of unusual that we had all those mass shootings when Barack Obama was president? And what did we have? Was it one? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. But we had the Las Vegas shooting, the 58 people that got killed from the guy that supposedly shot with the bump stock at the, was it MGM? Is that what it is? Or Mandalay Bay? That's the only mass shooting that I can think of. I don't know of any more. We had all kinds of mass shootings under Barack Obama. Don't think that if Joe Biden becomes president, and I'm going to make this prediction, I will bet you if Joe Biden is inaugurated as our president, that within, I'm going to be really aggressive in my prediction here. I'm going to say within 3 months. So that's February, March, April. I'm going to say by April of 2021, we have a mass shooting, which will trigger all of these anti-gun bills that the Democrats have sitting waiting so they can run those things through. You got me on record now. April of 2021, we will have a mass shooting by then. Because they always seem to happen when Democrats are in full control. And especially if they get the Senate, you'll probably, heck, if they get the Senate in that runoff on January 5th, you might see a mass shooting on January 21st. That's where we're at, guys. That's where we are. I mean, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I'm a bottle half full. This bottle's more than half full. All right, now I'm a bottle half full kind of guy. I always look on the bright side. Always have. I've never been a doom and gloom person. I've never been a person that if you see me in public, hey Paul, how's it going? Oh man, it's another one of those days. Another Monday. I'm just not like that. It's never been my style. Even when things might not be going right in my life and things might be hitting some speed bumps, might have some problems, my son's not doing well or something like that. When you ask me how things are going, I'm usually going to tell you, oh man, everything's good, man. How about you? How's the family? This is how I am. But I am very concerned with where we are right now. I'm very concerned with the fact that we might be rubber stamping corruption and allowing it to happen in our presidential election, one of the most important elections in the world, let alone in our country. I'm very bothered that so many Americans might be okay with corruption. I know they don't think there's corruption. They're saying that there's no corruption taking place, but they're being stupid and naive. It's like they're going la 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 because they don't want to hear that there might be corruption, because they want to think that everything is perfect and their guy got elected properly. But people with even an ounce of common sense see what's going on. Most of the American people are watching this and they see what's going on. Even people on the other side are looking around going, can you believe this crap? This is really happening. So we are at a point where we could very easily have, if it's allowed to take place and nothing is done about it and nobody goes to jail, we will have corrupt elections from now until all of us are gone. It will never change or never stop. No Republican and no Democrat is ever going to try to root out election fraud. If it's not done now, it will never ever be done. And on top of that, the reason why we're all here, because we're big gun fans and Second Amendment fans, our lives are going to change, guys. You know, all the joking about the boating accidents and all that, it's no joke. I have literally, in my mind, thought, and I don't care that this is on record, by the way, I have thought about where I could bury various things that might need to be buried. I have literally had those thoughts in my mind because I ain't giving my guns up. I'm not selling guns to the federal government for pennies on the dollar of what I paid for them. I don't care if they offer me what the receipt says that I paid for them. I bought them because I wanted them, not because I had to or because somebody made me. I bought every gun that I have because I wanted them. And I don't want to sell them. I'm not looking to sell my guns. I'm not in the business to sell my guns. I bought my guns because I wanted them. And I intend to keep them. So if they pass laws saying that I cannot legally possess my guns, I'm going to go on record right now and say, I ain't getting rid of my guns. I'm not selling them. I'm not destroying them. I'm not getting rid of them. I'm not giving them away. You got to come take them. They're going to have to come take my guns. I am not giving my guns up. And I'm absolutely not selling them back for pennies on the dollar of what I paid for them. The federal government is going to have more than just me on their hands. And I'm not trying to act like Mr. Billy Badass. I'm just stating a fact. There are way more badass people than me out there who will absolutely not let people take their guns. If they kick my door in the middle of the night to come take my guns, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to bend over and pull my pants down. I can promise you that. But I know people out there personally, and I know a lot of you guys online, they kick your door down, they may have some claymores or some other things to deal with that they weren't expecting, anticipating. And I can promise you, it's not going to take but a few of those times before the federal government realizes that they have bit off way more than they can chew if they try to go after legal, law-abiding people and take their guns from them and force people to give up things that they've worked hard for. We have enough of our money taken and stolen from us via taxes by the federal government, and to have things that we work for and that we're emotionally invested in, that we use to protect our families, now just pulled from our hands, things that we work for, and now you're telling me that I bought these items legally, and now you're taking them from me because I can't legally possess something that I legally purchased at one time? The American people are not going to stand for that, guys. It is going to be an absolute mess. And if the federal government wants to go down that road, they are going to be the ones responsible for starting that shit show. Not me and not you. Guys, I'm going to shut it down for tonight. As I always try to do, I like to go back and run the live stream over and look at all your comments. I see that you guys are commenting down there. Again, with my eyes, I can't read any of what your comments are. I'm probably 3 feet from the screen right now, and I just can't read anything. So I'm going to scroll back through and read through them. So always remember, go back and look at the comment section after we've ended the live stream, because in many cases, I'll try to address you guys and talk about your questions and answer them, or even just comment on some of your comments in the section later on. Hey, before I forget, if you get a chance, if I don't say it enough in my videos, go to ballisticink.com and pick up some of these shirts. I've got all kinds of cool designs over there. If you go to ballisticink.com, scroll down a little bit, you'll see a little banner with my my logo and me shooting a rifle. And if you click on it, you'll find all of my designs. I've got baseball caps, beanie caps. I think there's a coat or two, a jacket or two in there. There's hoodies. There's long sleeve t-shirts like what I'm wearing now. There's short sleeve t-shirts. There's t-shirts for women in there. There's tank tops. There's just a ton of stuff in there. And this is probably one of my favorite shirts. Guys, I absolutely love this shirt. This is my own design here, the Neighborhood Watch Program. And it's got a shotgun and a shovel. This is one of my favorite shirts. I've got a short sleeve, long sleeve. I've got a hoodie. I just love it. This is definitely one of my favorite shirts. So if you want to get one, run out there and take a look at it and get whatever you want. I've got a really cool baseball cap that's coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen the t-shirt that I have where I took the Goodyear logo with the wing foot I took the Goodyear logo and I made it say "Good Guys," and instead of a winged foot in between "Good" and "Year," I put a Glock, a pistol in between "Good" and "Guys," and it looks just like the Goodyear logo. Very, very cool. I have the T-shirt, and it's one of my favorite also. And actually, they're making a baseball cap for me, so that's going to be out probably next week, I think. So that'll be available as a cap in the black multicam and just regular camouflage, or you can get it in just standard colors as well. So, but again, ballisticink.com, and look for my logo out there and grab you one. Guys, thank you as always. I mean, it's what, 8:05. Wow, we went a whole hour this time. Been having a hard time going a full hour here lately. There's not enough to talk about, but I guess I rambled a lot tonight. Thank you as always, guys. I mean, you hang out with me on a Friday night. I know you have better things to do. I'm not stupid. I mean, I get that. And it means a lot to me that you guys think enough to hang out with me and have the conversations that we have. It's very flattering to me, and I'm honored that you guys will do that. Hopefully, I can start making this more of a Friday night thing like we used to do before. Especially while temperatures down here in South Louisiana are getting nice now, where I can sit outside or I can, do other things that where I'm not sweating. I mean, our summers are so bad down here. But again, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hopefully, I can do this again next Friday night. I will say that be on the lookout for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing with the 1791 Summit, because that's going to be some really cool stuff that we're going to have going on. Have some new videos coming out either tomorrow, probably tomorrow. I'll have a new video out on the Ruger Precision 22 Win Mag. That rifle, I've been shooting that, spent the rest of today shooting it with a suppressor on it. Had a good time shooting it, a lot of fun to shoot. That video should be out tomorrow, so hopefully you guys can check it out. But yeah, be looking for more content from me. I'm ready to start spitting more stuff out. And if you guys have any comments on, suggestions on what guns you want me to look at, if you want me to do more videos on techniques, I've done some concealed carry on, do's and don'ts of concealed carry, home defense around the house. If you guys have suggestions, I'd love to hear them, because definitely always looking for new content to try to make everybody happy, and things that people will look at. Anybody that donated money to me in this stream, I see that somebody did. I appreciate that. I know during my election coverage the other night, a few of you did. Tomorrow, I think, your koozies go out. I'm mailing those to you guys, and I really appreciate that. If you ever donate money to me, either here on YouTube or Patreon, always follow that up with an email to paul@legallyarmedamerica.com with your address, telling me why you're emailing me, that I gave you money on YouTube or Patreon. I know that's not why you guys are doing that. I know you're doing that just to be nice, but that's not my way of showing my respect and my thanks to you guys for helping me out. And I absolutely appreciate that. And I know that sometimes I may be taking the money that you're donating and giving it right back to you, but that's my way of saying thank you. And I do appreciate the fact it's a heartfelt thanks that you guys are willing to do that. I hope you know that means a lot to me. So hopefully, guys, we will see you throughout the week. Hopefully next Friday. Have a great weekend. Be safe. If you're drinking beer, please don't drive. Get a designated driver. Hopefully you guys are already home and you can drink. Whoops, that's not good. I just knocked my beer over. Hopefully you don't knock yours over and do that. But I'm going to drink this. Go get a fresh one, because I'm home and I don't have to go anywhere. Guys, have a great weekend.